Refugee. Who is a refugee? A refugee is a person who has been forced to leave their country in order to escape war, persecution, or a natural disaster. According to UNHCR, in 2017, 65.6 million were forcibly displaced worldwide. Among them, 22.5 million are refugees, over half of whom are under 18 years of age. There are also 10 million stateless people who have been denied a nationality and access to basic rights such as education, healthcare, employment, and freedom of movement. 55% of refugees worldwide come from three countries: South Sudan, with 1.4 million refugees, Afghanistan, 2.5 million refugees, and Syria, 5.5 million refugees. In this worldwide refugee crisis, Europe hosts 17% of the total refugees in the world, Asia and Pacific 11%, Americas 16%, Middle East and North Africa 26%, and Africa with 16% refugees. One such refugee crisis affecting the entire world, and especially one community today, is the Rohingya refugee crisis.
Rohingyas.
The Rohingyas are often described as the world's most persecuted minority. The Rohingyas are a predominantly Muslim minority group in the Rakhine state of Myanmar. An estimated 1 million Rohingyas live in the Rakhine state. The Rohingyas are not considered one of the country's 135 official ethnic groups and have been denied citizenship in Myanmar since 1982. Under the citizenship law, in order to be a citizen, a person had to provide proof that his or her family had lived in Myanmar since before 1948. Many Rohingyans lack record of their family's historical residence. Since the 1970s, a number of crackdowns on the Rohingyans in Rakhine state have forced hundreds of thousands to flee to neighboring countries. In 1978, the military began Operation Naga Min or Dragon King to find and take action against persons the military junta deemed to be illegal immigrants. This operation targeted Rohingyas in the Rakhine state. The government claimed Rohingyas were foreigners rather than an ethnic minority of Myanmar. The military abused, raped, and murdered many Rohingyans. As a result, more than 200,000 Rohingyans fled across the border into Bangladesh. During a violence in 2012, the Myanmar Army, Myanmar Police Force, Nasaka, and Rakhine citizens killed several hundred Rohingyan men, women, and children in targeted attacks. According to UN data and information provided by human rights organizations, none of which are complete. In October 2016, Rohingyans reportedly killed 9 border police officers, due to which troops started pouring into the villages in Rakhine state. The government blamed what it called fighters from an armed Rohingyan group. The killings led to a security crackdown on villages where Rohingyans lived. During the crackdown, government troops were accused of an array of human rights abuses, including extrajudicial killing, rape, and arson, allegations the government denied. Since August 2017, new attacks have been laid out on Rohingyas. Human Rights Watch conducted an analysis of satellite imagery counting at least 200 villages burned down in the offensive, which the United Nations has called a textbook example of ethnic cleansing. Since the late 1970s, nearly 1 million Rohingyans have fled Myanmar due to widespread persecution. According to the most recently available data from the United Nations in May, more than 168,000 Rohingyans have fled Myanmar since 2012. Following violence that broke out last year, more than 87,000 Rohingyans fled to Bangladesh from October 2016 to July 2017, according to the International Organization for Migration. The Rohingyas have mostly fled to South and Middle Eastern countries, with Saudi Arabia hosting around 200,000 Rohingyas, UAE 10,000 Rohingyas, Pakistan 350,000 Rohingyas, India 40,000 Rohingyas, Thailand 5,000, Malaysia 15,000, Indonesia with around 1,000 Rohingyas, and Bangladesh with the most 900,000 Rohingya refugees in the country. Aung San Suu Kyi, the state councillor of Myanmar and Nobel Prize winner, has been criticized for her silence on this ongoing violence.
Some people are calling it ethnic cleansing.
No, it's not ethnic cleansing. It's a new problem, and yet it's linked to old problems as well. I would like to make the point that there are many moderate Muslims in Burma who have been well integrated into our society, but these problems arose last year, And I think this is due to fear on both sides. And this is what the world needs to understand, that the fear is not just on the side of the Muslims, but on the side of the Buddhists as well. This is fear.
Fear on both sides. You would accept, though, that the scale of the suffering is not equal on both sides. There are something like 140,000 Burmese Muslims displaced from their homes and living in camps. They're the ones who are bearing the brunt of this violence.
I think there are many Buddhists who have also left the country for various reasons, and there are many Buddhists who are in refugee camps for various reasons.
Arun Jaitley, India's finance minister, answering questions on India's stand on this crisis, has said,
किसी पड़ोस के देश में उनका आंतरिक विषय है म्यांमार का, वो अपनी समस्या को दूसरे देशों में धकेलना चाहते हैं। अब कोई भी देश अपनी विदेश नीति के आधार पर, अपनी सुरक्षा नीति के आधार पर, अपनी देश के जनसंख्या संतुलन के आधार पर तय करेगा कि मुझे क्या करना है।
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres in September 2017 said,
And would you describe those human rights abuses now as ethnic cleansing?
I think that we are facing a risk. I hope we don't get there. And I appeal to all authorities in Myanmar, civilian authorities and military authorities, to indeed put an end to this violence.
With the whole world responding and condemning this ongoing crisis, is it not unfair on the part of the Myanmar government to rely on the world for what is basically an internal and self-propagated matter? With support pouring in from all over the world, is it not time for the Myanmar government to stop this ethnic cleansing?